Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Devil Experience. My name is Eric. Mateus Cunha to Manchester United. Done deal. Here we go. Coming by next week after the season is over. It has been pretty much confirmed. We have some other updates as well surrounding some players like Joshua Zirkzee coming back for the final, and Lenny Yoro as well, and some other updates. David Beckham also speaking on Manchester United and Ruben Amorim. We're going to get into all of that. Before we do, please smash the like button because it helps the channel grow and we greatly appreciate it. And if you're not a subscriber and you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell icon so you never miss a live and you know when we go live and you stay up to date. But other than that, let's just get straight into the news. And yeah, with the news starts from we got update from the Muppeteers early in the day saying that they believe that they think Zirkzee has got a chance to make it to the final as a bench player, which will be good. If he can get on the bench, we'll take him. More the merrier, more the better. But they also gave us an update, the Muppeteers, saying that there is a chance that Lenny Yoro starts against Tottenham. It's going to be up to Ruben Amorim to pick him. I really do hope that that is credible and that is as accurate as possible, because I said the other day that Diego Dalot probably has the best chance to play, followed by Lenny, and then followed by De Ligt. Wasn't too sure about Zirkzee because Zirkzee, they told us he was supposed to be back for the final like a month or two ago, and then a week or two ago they told us that Zirkzee wasn't expected to be for the final and that they were looking for him for next season. So I'm not 100% too sure on how that goes that way, but yeah, those are those updates. But obviously Mateus Cunha, and we're gonna get into Mateus Cunha as well. Pretty much, Fabrizio kicked this things off today, earlier in the morning, about nine hours ago or so. So obviously it's a lot more well developed now. It's basically pretty much done, and we're going to get to that point. But let's walk through for everybody that may have missed the updates along the way and stuff like that. Fabrizio came out, said United are now closing in on Mateus Cunha deal. Agreement on personal terms is now being finalized and almost done. He also followed up by saying final details for Mateus Cunha to sort between all parties involved. And then here we go. We also then got an update, another one from Fabrizio, but more about the fact of not really Cunha, but it goes hand in hand with Cunha, that says the doors are open to one more addition for the number 10 position, to have one more player able to play behind the striker based on what happens also with outgoings, which I thought was kind of interesting because they have been mentioning the number 10 position, and beyond Cunha, there's obviously still a lot of question marks over Alejandro Garnacho and if he is going to stay or if he's going to be sold. And I find that update sort of, I don't know how to really read into that. My mind goes when it says, based on what happens also with the outgoings. Are they talking about Garnacho? Is Fabrizio talking about Garnacho? Is he talking about Rashford, Anthony, and Sancho from a more financial terms? Or is he talking about the possibility that maybe Garnacho goes and then we need another player to kind of take that role, because he is a player that's playing in that 10 position, and Cunha is not obviously his replacement. Cunha is just adding to what we already got. So I find that quite interesting. Hopefully we get updated. That Lyle is here, says, hey Eric and all you Reds. Yes, how you doing, Lyle? How is everybody doing? Just going through the updates from earlier today, and we're gonna arrive at the current moment. I think we just got another couple updates as we went live, so we'll get to those. But I want to get through all the details of the Cunha stuff. Fabrizio also said Manchester United also consider Cunha's price to be fair, not excessive. Internally, he has been approved by all decision makers at the club, all believing he can be perfect signing. Well, definitely he he's Premier League player, plays the 10, playing pretty much the same system and formation that we play. And regardless of all that, he is a good player. He is a good player. So I don't think the price that we're paying for him, I actually think it's fair as well. I mean, he is a Premier League proven player. He's a good player. And 60 million for a Premier League player in today's time, I think is a pretty fair price considering the money that players go for nowadays, coupled with his ability. So yeah, but sidetrack from the Cunha deal. There has been murmurs and talks of because apparently Emi Martinez is leaving Aston Villa. Apparently, I don't know how 100% confirmed this is, but I don't know how 100% confirmed this is. I don't know if like this is like actually like I don't know if this is just some talk going on or like he's actually announced that he's going to leave. But yesterday there was some noise about Emi is leaving Villa. United and somebody else are interested. Today we got another update coming from Mundo Deportivo saying Manchester United are also in the running for Emi Martinez. That was updated yesterday as well. So that's interesting. We'll circle back around to that because a lot of people want Onana out. A lot of people want a new goalkeeper. I will say, for me personally, I really like Emi Martinez. I've seen some people say that they don't rate him and they don't think he's good. I think that's crazy. I think he's a very good keeper. I think he's a very good keeper. He makes some very, very excellent saves. And he sweeps as well, pretty decently as well. I don't think he's like an elite sweeper keeper, but I think in terms of shot stopping and being a goalkeeper, he's a very, very good goalkeeper, and we see him week in, week out. So I think he's probably less of a risk than some of these other goalkeepers that may be out there in other leagues. Many people want João Garcia. Again, I don't know much about him because I literally have never watched him play. But they rate him highly. But I like Emi Martinez. So I mean, I don't know how much he would go for. But if he's on a free, which I don't think he is, but if he is on a free, yeah, I mean, let's go do it. So, Amorim had some quotes as well, which I guess we could kind of do, but there's quite a lot. So, actually not that many. So let's read these. Amorim doing another interview. This is number 472 or whatever it is since he's been here. Don't quote me on that number. That number is false. But he said, nobody is going to say I was a finalist in this kind of club. You need to win it. We need to win the final. And 100%. This is the big argument that's going on in football when some people say that if United win the Europa League, they'll technically have a better season than Arsenal or some other clubs like City that haven't won a trophy. And I think a lot of it is banter, but to a big point, I mean, obviously Arsenal in a better position, and so was City in the league and stuff like that, and they competed in the Champions League, and we were not in that. But the big point comes across that the point of elite sport is to win the trophies. That is the point of the elite sport, is to win as many of the trophies as you possibly can, as many times as possible. Nobody, and this is the point I was trying to make across last time, nobody's gonna remember in 5 years' time and be like, remember that time that Arteta took Arsenal and they finished second and they went to the semifinal? Like, no one's really gonna give a shit about that because they didn't win a trophy. If they won a trophy, then people would remember it, but they didn't. So it's not the significance of the trophy, more people will remember that time United finished 16th in the league, but we still won the Europa League. So people will remember those types of things. So obviously the trophies are the big indicators, the big winnings here. He continued on to say winning the Europa League is not enough for the fans for all the support they've given us this season. It's not a surprise for me. They will go swimming to Bilbao if they need to. Even without a ticket, they will be there. I already know. A big thank you to them for everything they do. We will do our best to give something back to them. I thought that was quite funny that he said they will go swimming, because I think some of them really would. They really would go, jump on a boat, go swimming to get to Bilbao. The away support is absolutely fantastic, and even our even our support during this sort of time. I think Amorim, he really understands, like, he doesn't feel like he deserves it. He doesn't feel like the team deserves it. I think he's kind of been taken a little bit back by it, because I think he expects booze. I think he expects extreme anger. I think he expects maybe the ground to be sort of, when we're playing in Old Trafford and stuff, maybe a little bit flat, maybe, lacking support, because it's difficult to show up week in, week out and sort of have the energy and the mentality to continue to be as supportive as the fans have, especially in the ground, as they've been, considering the times that we've been in. And, there's been times where, United fans have booed and have expressed their displeasure, but for the majority of this season, considering where we are in the league, which is 15th in the league, 16th in the league. Wait, 15th to 16th. I mean, the support has been great, and he really, I think it actually makes him quite uncomfortable, because I think he knows, like, for example, like, let's put it this way, you know, maybe not Sporting, but there's some clubs, like, he played for Benfica. I think if Benfica finished like 14th in the Portuguese league, they would be getting booed off of the pitch. Like, so I think he kind of like expected to be getting constantly booed. It's not happening. United is sort of different. I mean, we're not really usually like that. If you hear the boos ring out, it isn't. We're not Madrid. Madrid is one where it usually happens the most. Um, I mean, they've booed players. I mean, they've booed Ronaldo. You know what I mean? So, I mean, they've booed, exceptional performing players. They've booed Bale. They've booed all sorts of people. So Rajat says doing dance. Not yet. Maybe soon. Uh, Amorim said we're preparing for the match. We're very excited about the final. It's really important, huge for us. We have to give something to our fans. Just on the final, real quick, by the way. And we will get back to Cunha, because there's been more updates, obviously. But I'm kind of just going in chronological order here for today. I was thinking about it the past couple days. I was really giving it some thought. And he really needs to win this final. He does. He needs to win this final. Like, he needs to win this final. I know the fans want to win. I know we want to win, because we just want to have something to celebrate in our worst season. And I understand, like, the importance of the financials to win and to take us into Champions League. But for him specifically, I was thinking about it yesterday, and, like, he really needs to win. It will do wonders of good for him, because I feel like I feel like this is he's not going to play into it too much about himself. It's more about the team aspect and the fans and stuff, like he's been saying. But for Ruben, um, I think if he doesn't win this final, I think a lot of people that are sort of hopeful still with him and still have sort of his backing. I think a lot of people are going to lose that in him. And this match is a big indicator for him. You know, like the outlook of how things are. It goes, okay, obviously 16th is unacceptable and it's been very bad and this can never happen again and we don't expect it to happen again. But if you lose that final, I think he's going to lose a ton of support. Whereas if he wins it, it'll just give him more time, more belief behind him and in him from the supporters, from the fans, because being able to win the Europa League final is an indicator that he can get over the line. So I think this is very pivotal for him. I think it's I don't want to compare it because it's different eras, it's different circumstances to a certain degree, and obviously I don't like saying that anybody's ever going to be this guy because I truly believe there will never be another one. I don't care who it is out there in the world, that there won't be another one, but it's a bit similar to Ferguson and that whole story of like, he was going to lose his job, he won the FA Cup, and the rest is history. Now, he can still, Ruben can still fail. He can still get sacked. It could still go poorly. But I think it still has some similarities to it in the fact that if he can win this Europa League, it can do something similar for him in terms of that it might be a saving grace. It might just be enough to buy him enough time. And if he can couple that with good results, good performances next season, plus good transfers in, that maybe it is a big pivotal turning point, and things really do turn around. If we lose this final, it's just continuing the negativity that's been going on. So, Lions is here as well, and Steph is here, and Steph says Cunha brings that fight, fire, and sprinkle of red and mist that our team has been sadly lacking. With a fire emoji, winning Europa is massive. Sliding door moment on Wednesday. Absolutely. And Steph just coming in flying right now with a strong statement. I like it. And I agree with it 100%. And we're going to get to Cunha. He's going to be the main talk of the things, but there's actually quite a lot to discuss. I mean, Beckham's done some speaking. I'm a little bit biased. Beckham, one of my favorite players of all time. Childhood hero for me. He was my favorite player when I was a kid. Absolutely loved him. He's done some speaking today about Amorim, so we're going to get on to that as well. Ahmad's done quite a lengthy interview as well, somewhere. I don't really know. But he said a couple things. Mentioned, not playing and the frustration of that and stuff like that. And, he said, I already lost 2 Europa League finals, so I hope to win this one. I keep praying for that one. It'll be really good for me, but also the team, because at the end of the day, we want some things at the end of the season. He also said, he talked about his injury that he suffered in training. He said, I was pressing Onana, and then I think my left foot stayed on the grass and turned. In that moment, I knew it wasn't really good, because I knew I'd miss some games. I didn't know if my season was really over. So after my operation, I kept believing. I kept praying to be back before the end of the season. I'm always positive. I'm always smiling. That's me. That's Ahmad. So I always try to grow up with positive things. I think the gist from him speaking today, you could tell, listen, obviously players come and they say things to the camera, to the public, and it's PR in a way, right? But it's in the way they say things. It's the words they say. Like, reading through all of this, and hearing what Ahmad is saying, you kind of get a look into his mentality and his attitude, and I already got this from watching him playing on the pitch. This only just further confirms what I already knew, because the way he plays the game, the way he plays for us on the pitch, matches the words that he's given us today. I mean, he has a really good attitude. He has a really good mentality. There was a period in time where, there was no structure for him to really get into the United squad. There was no plan. There was a point where it looked like it might not even happen. He might get sold. He went on loan twice. And then he came in and he started playing good, and he still wasn't getting picked, and he still wasn't starting, and he went through all of that. And now, he's loved and adored by basically the entire fan base. I haven't seen anybody say one bad word about Amad Diallo, like some of the other players that are currently in our squad. So, Steph says, "Forgive my manners, big up arrogance." All right, don't worry about it. Big up yourself, Steph. Big up yourself. So, yeah, I mean, Ahmad saying, "I believe in my potential. I believe I can be one of the best in the world. I just have to give my best every game. That's it. But I believe in my potential." And yeah, I mean, even Mount did some speaking today as well, talking about the finals, saying it's a trophy and the UCL next season. We will do everything we can to win this game. We won't forget our league season. We know we have to work on that. It's final. If we can win it, it will be a positive end to a difficult season. And I think that's a fair kind of, statement to make. I mean, again, that's pretty much how everybody sort of feels. I mean, it's not good enough. It hasn't been good enough. It can never be this again. But, we want this Europa League final. We want this trophy. It can be a small positive end to what has been a disastrous season and a hard and difficult season for every Manchester United fan out there. Nobody out there is happy. Nobody out there is okay with this. People deal with it in different ways. Some people have extreme rage and anger. Some people choose to try and be positive in these moments, but there's nobody that's enjoyed this. There's nobody that's been okay with this. People deal with it and cope with it in different ways. But we all know that this isn't good enough. I mean, the players know, at least you would hope you think they know. Although maybe you would question some. But Ruben, definitely, the way he speaks, he's really hurt by it. He's really hurt by it. So yeah. Steph says, "I watched the Owen Hargreaves interview with Harry Maguire today. TNT Sports. I think it was very good, worth a watch." Yeah, I watched a little bit of it as well. It was good. The players coming out and speaking. I mean, Maguire, Mount, Ahmad. I think Bruno's done one as well. At the very least, you could say the message seems very unified, even though it's individuals speaking. Everybody's kind of sort of on the same page in their own words, kind of in their own thinking, but everybody's kind of hitting almost the same points as well. So it is good to kind of see that, because to me it indicates at least that there's some sort of not like a unity, but like an an overall understanding with these players in the squad. So Lumen says, "From a fair humanity point of view, Spurs fans deserve the glory." I'm gonna fight you on this one, Lumen. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. We deserve it because we've had one of the worst seasons. I make the same argument for us. It's been really difficult. Listen, Spurs have been Spurs for quite a long time. They could deal with it. They can continue to deal with it. Us, it's a lot more difficult. So, Lumen says players and managers speaking to former players doesn't help us at all. Um, well, maybe sometimes it can. We've had enough in the past. Nah, but nah, we need more. I mean, the past 13 seasons has been really rough. It's been really bad. Um, been really really bad, and we need to continue to win these trophies even in this period. These are the things that are kind of only saving us slightly. Is winning these sort of. I mean, these trophies are considered slightly below us. They're usually considered added bonuses. I mean, we don't want the Europa League, really. We want the Champions League. But when you say United's in their worst period ever, and we're still managing to get a Carabao Cup here, an FA Cup there, a Europa League here and there, it's still kind of saving us here and there, because I think there's clubs like Tottenham, and some others. I mean, even Arsenal, where they might be in their best period, but they ain't even winning trophies. Really. Um, and obviously I'm not saying Tottenham's in their best period, but at one point they were in their best period and they didn't even win the trophy, which was under Poch, and they lost it all. So, yeah. Temizgin Elisio says, United, I want Gyökeres, Cunha, Mastantuano, Cherky, Danny Munoz, Simmons to United is better for next season. He's changed it again. He's got rid of Kirkez, because Kirkez is going to Liverpool, I think. It seems like that. Liverpool kind of doing a madness out there. They've gotten Frimpong. Seems like they're going to get Kirkez, so they're starting really strong. I mean, they didn't really spend last summer, so I think their budget is quite high. And they're going to strengthen their position. Oh, and by the way, they are playing Brighton right now, and Brighton have tied the match 1-1. So they have just scored a goal, Brighton. They were losing 1-0. Just to keep you updated. So Steph says, Hargreaves said it very simply, 7 or 8 players need to win their individual battles to help the team win matches. I thought he put that very well. Well, they do. They do. I mean, listen, it's a team aspect, it's a team dynamic at the end of the day, but when you break it down a little bit more, he's not wrong. I mean, he is right. Like, your 2 midfielders got to outbeat the other 2 or 3 midfielders, whoever's there. You got to win those battles. The wingers or the wing backs, whoever's taking on the right backs and left backs from the other teams, they got to win those battles. The striker has to win his battles against the center backs. The defenders on our team have to win the battles against the strikers and the attackers of the opposing team. And then the keeper's got to do his thing as well. So, I mean, that's kind of part of the problem as well. We're a little bit dysfunctional when it comes to that. I think sometimes we have a player or 2 performing exceptionally well, but then in other areas we have 2 or 3 players not performing exceptionally well and losing their battles. And you can't really have great momentum and great success like that. Everybody has to kind of be doing their job. Everybody has to be performing to the highest level. Which we have not, which is why we are where we are. So, funnily enough, though, Ahmad did say something about Erik ten Hag, and he said Erik helped me a lot. He gave me a lot of advice. Even when I wasn't playing, he told me to train very hard every time. I want to thank him again for the opportunity he gave me and wish him the best. So, again, he could have kind of taken a dig at him if he really wanted to. But Ahmad being Ahmad and kind of his personality and his attitude, just kind of not really taking it too much against him for not really picking him, even though, a lot of fans hate Erik ten Hag for that specifically. We've had people in this show, and we've had people say that they'll never forgive Ten Hag specifically only for what he did to Ahmad, So yeah, I mean, But there was some more updates that I want to get to for Cunha, and that goes that Ben Jacobs came about 4 hours ago and said United are optimistic of agreeing terms with Cunha this week. Full agreement on terms is close. Positive discussions are now at an advanced stage. He also added no approach to Wolves yet. All parties want a speedy resolution. We then also got an update from, I'm not too sure about this source, but it's UOLE Sporte. I don't know where they're from, so I don't know if this is Spanish, Brazilian. Oh, it's Brazilian. It's Brazilian source saying Manchester United have reached an agreement with Matheus Cunha and are finalizing the details with him. United will pay his 62.5 million release clause. So we'll see about that. That was at literally the same time Ben Jacobs said that, no approach to Wolves yet. And they're stating that United will pay the release clause. So maybe that's why there isn't, an approach to Wolves, because you don't really have to approach Wolves. I mean, maybe technically you do, because you gotta send them the fee. Maybe give them a heads up, say, hey, we're activating this fee. But I'm still interested to see if we actually pay the 62.5 million release clause up front. And maybe we got an update about that, because I'm gonna be quite honest, I was a little bit pressed for time, so I saw some updates, but I wasn't able to go through it thoroughly like I usually do. So I'm kind of doing it as we go along with you guys. So I know we're a little bit behind, but we will get up to date. I promise, and we will get up to speed. So Garnacha doing some speaking as well. Onana doing some speaking as well. Dorgu as well. It seems like the entire club is speaking. Sky Sports followed up that news about Cunha, also saying that slow sports news. I mean, we're slow sports news right now, but they said Matheus Cunha is set to join United after the season ends this weekend. Despite interest from other clubs, Cunha wants to play for United, and the deal is almost agreed. They also added the club are aware of the conditions for that clause to be met. So yeah. There was a slight update also about Mason Greenwood. For anybody that's interested. I don't know Longoria. I don't know who Longoria is, but it seems like he's somebody that runs Marseille, I believe, because he made the quote about Mason Greenwood saying, "We bought 50% of the player's value. It was the only way we could have done it. Qualifying for the UCL requires us to buy around 10% more, which will increase the percentage of the player that Olympique de Marseille owns." He also said, "We'll give 50% back to United if we sell him this summer, 40% next year." So, we could also get some money from Mason Greenwood as well, which is also something that hasn't really been included in sort of the sales, which is a good positive. Depending for how much he goes for. But I mean, if we're going to get about 40 to 50% from Mason Greenwood sale, could be a good, decent chunk of money. I don't know how much he's actually going to go for, but he has had a good season at Marseille and in the French league. I think he's tied for top goal scorer, if I'm not mistaken. So factor that into, the sales with Rashford and Anthony, and Sancho, and maybe one or two other players that, aren't really 100% concrete. We also had updates about Victor Gyökeres. There's been a lot of talk. Now, it was reported probably last week, I believe, that, Arsenal were making a move for him, and it seemed like that, it was maybe leaning in Arsenal's corner a little bit, but United were still mentioned in it. And United have continued to sort of been mentioning in it, and nothing really has seemed to sort of concretely developed from the Arsenal side. So I think it's sort of still a wait and see. I don't think Gyökeres is in that much of a rush yet. I don't think he needs to be. He still has one game left for Sporting to play in the Portuguese Cup. And then, when that happens, the dust will be settled. We'll know where Manchester United stand. We'll know if we're in the Champions League. We'll know if we'll have more money or not. I'll know that. And then I guess he's going to start, reviewing all the offers that he's going to get for him. So Talk Sport said that, United are set to rival Arsenal for Gyökeres. Amorim is pushing for him as he looks to remold United's attack. So, again, for me, Gyökeres still my number one choice at the striker position. I mean, he's just fantastic goal scorer. I think he would do very well. He has experience from the championship. He did well in the championship as well. At the time, he did pretty good. So, and I think he also has the attributes and the qualities. He's quite physical. He's fast. He has a good IQ. He has a good finish. I think he has all the qualities to be able to perform excellent in the Premier League. And I just feel like Manchester United should be getting him. I feel like Manchester United should be getting. I feel like if he goes to Arsenal, he's going to score a bunch of goals. And I feel like we're going to spend an entire season talking about we should have got Gyökeres. Because I think we do have a strong chance to get Gyökeres. I mean, he's really not that expensive. He's allowed to go for something about £52 million or £56 million. For a striker of that quality, considering as $100 million buyout clause, and he's allowed to go for pretty much half, we should be able to do this deal. I mean, if we're looking to pay $40 million for Liam Delap, there's no reason why we can't get an extra $12.5 million or $16 million to pay for Gyökeres. I understand the wages will be higher and it'll be slightly more expensive, but I mean, if we perform better in the league because we have a better striker that's going to score more goals and get us more points, then that money should be recouped because we should be getting more money based on a better season, which I think we have a much higher chance of having a better season with Victor Gyökeres leading the line than having Liam Delap leading the line. So, Steph says Palace team ethic was simple on Saturday. Defend as a team and attack as a team. Simples. Yeah, sometimes you don't have to overcomplicate football. Sometimes it's really basics. And sometimes we really lack at basics, unfortunately. So, but I knew Crystal Palace was going to win. Not that I'm promoting this or advertising, but I did put a tenner on Crystal Palace to beat Manchester City. So, I got that one right and I won that. So, Lumen says 12.5 million a year for Cunha. And that is absolutely correct. If we pay the installments, of course. But I don't know if they clarified that yet. So let's see, because there's more updates somewhere. But let's switch gears real quick and then we'll come back to the transfers because I see that we're getting updates. I see them popping up on my screen. So there's more updates coming out, I think, surrounding transfers and stuff like that. But before I do, let me just get to the comments. Rajat says it's on FIFA. Rajat says don't really want Delap. Delap is overrated like heck. I think Delap's a good player. I don't think he's necessarily bad, but when you take Delap and you compare him side by side next to Gyökeres or Osimhen, I don't think he's on the same level. I wouldn't say Delap is a bad player. I wouldn't say like Delap is like garbage and we shouldn't sign him. It's just that there is a big gap in experience, quality, and ability. And these two players like Osimhen and Gyökeres are much further ahead in their development and careers, and they're sort of pretty much the final product, whereas Delap isn't, and Delap has one season in the Prem, and it's a lot of responsibility, as we've seen. I mean, with Rasmus, it could go something similar to Delap. I mean, he could really struggle, whereas I feel less worried about that for somebody like Gyökeres or like Osimhen. So, um, he was on Brighton and Coventry City, wasn't he? Yeah, he was in the Brighton reserves. He didn't play a match for. He didn't play a professional match for Brighton, and then he went to Coventry, and I think he did like 2 or 3 seasons there. He did something about 100 plus. I think it was like 120 something appearances or something like that, and he had like 56 to 60 goal involvements. So I mean, you know, it's a pretty good return, but obviously, it's stepped up when he's gone to Sporting, and it's he's basically he's scoring a goal a game since he's gone to Sporting across all competitions, Portuguese league, Champions League, doesn't really matter. So yeah. Alex Roche says, "What sell-on clause do we have with Alvaro Carreras?" Well, we do have. I don't know exactly what the sell-on clause is. I could look it up real quick because it's a good question to actually define. Sell-on clause for Alvaro, um, Alvaro Fernandez. Um, so it says United have a 50% sell-on clause, which automatically means that well, okay. Well, somebody somebody was writing it in a different manner. But we have apparently we have a 50% sell-on clause. But there's something strange going on with that because Madrid are obviously. So the sell-on clause reduces the buyback clause's impact. If United were to re-sign Fernandez, which is not going to happen at this point, the 16.7 million buyback clause would be halved to 8.5 million due to the 50% sell-on clause. But Real Madrid are gonna. It seems like they're gonna get him. But Madrid, there might be some truth to this story because it was reported about a month or so ago that Madrid wanted us to buy him back and then sell him to Madrid because Benfica have a 50 million buyout clause that has nothing to do with United but to anybody else. So if Madrid want him, they have to go and pay 50 something million to Benfica, which they're unwilling to do. Now, there's been stories in I think yesterday and a couple days ago saying that Madrid and Manchester United are actually working in tandem where United will buy him back for 16.7 million, but it'll be cut in half to 8.5 million pounds because of the 50% sell-on clause. We will then take that and then sell him to Real Madrid for less than 50, but we'll make more money than the whatever we would get from the sell-on clause. So it's a win-win apparently for us and for Madrid. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know if this is actually going to happen. It does seem quite kind of, I mean, it's weird. I don't think this has really ever happened before. So like, Alex Roche says he's going to Madrid. Well, that's what's reported. And Alex Roche says, "Don't think you're allowed to do that." Well, I think you are because I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything against it, really. I don't think there's anything against it. If there's no real rule against it, then they've found a loophole. How much do we get if they spend 50 million? Well, we would get half. So, no, we get 50%. Yeah, we get half. Um, we would get 25 million. So supposedly, that's what they say. Because it says we have a 50% sell-on clause. So if they sell him for 50, we're supposed to get 25. It's been reported that supposedly if we buy him back and then sell him to Madrid, we'll end up with more than that somehow, some way. So I can't really find that because it was read the other day. Steph says bet Fred and bet Victor, now bet Eric. Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit of gambling. Not too much. Don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. If you don't have the money, don't do it. Don't do it. And if you do have the money, don't go overboard. Because it could destroy people's lives. We don't want that. We have a 60 sell on clause for Greenwood. It's probably going to be done in installments too. Can you sign for a team then instantly be sold right away though? I think you can. I don't see why not. I think in FIFA video games you can't. But I mean, it's a good question, Lines. I believe there's nothing. I believe there's nothing, as far as I know, in terms of a rule or law that doesn't let you do that. Because, I mean, I've never heard of anything like that. Usually it's just that, you know, players have signed and they don't really tend to leave. But this is sort of a weird and different kind of thing. The thing about Alvaro is he doesn't want to come back to us. So, for anybody that wants him, I mean, his agent has come out and said that, you know, there's no chance of him going back to England. I don't think he wants to go. I don't think he wants to go back to the country, but I also just don't think he wants to come back to United. So it's not, you know, it doesn't make sense for us to try and bring him back. But if they have you know, if his agent has negotiations with Madrid, and it's kind of a three-way party, and they come to some sort of agreement, they might be able to do it. It's quite unusual. This is never really. This isn't something that, you know, is like a typical thing. I don't think this has ever happened. I can't remember an instance of this ever happening, of something like this. So this would kind of be a first time, and that's why I kind of feel like there probably isn't a rule about this, because it's just very unusual. So I don't know. But we can look into it later on at some point and check it out and see. Or would Madrid take him on loan for a year first? No, I think they would just pay us directly. I don't know how that necessarily affects the books, but basically all I'll say is if it makes sense for us and we profit from it, and Real Madrid get a benefit from it as well, where they don't have to pay as much, it'll probably happen. You know, because our club is trying to make the most money. So the only thing is that obviously Benfica are going to be extremely fucking, you know, pissed about this. They're probably going to hate us, and they're going to hate Real Madrid for it, but they kind of have to hate themselves as well, because they agreed to this sort of deal to get Alvaro. They allowed this clause to be in there. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of a problem. Josh says, is Euro and Delo back starting for the final? Well, the update that we got from the Muppeteers earlier today was that apparently Lenny Euro is available for the final, and that it is up to Ruben Amorim if he is going to start him or not. So Xerxes might be making the bench, Josh. Delo, I don't think we've gotten anything like that today. I think Delo has probably a good chance to make it, because he's the one that seems to have the best natural fitness out of all the players that are sort of injured. And I feel like he will, at the very least, he'll probably be on the bench. I think he'll make it back. I think these players will basically mostly all make it back. So, I mean, there's still, you know, 1 or 2 more days, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, the more the merrier. I keep saying, the more the merrier. The more we get back, the better. I don't care if, you know, obviously I'd like to see some of them be able to start, but even if they're on the bench and they could give us 20, 30 minutes, you know, they could have a huge impact. It could be something that is quite big. Alex Rocher says Bergval could be back. Could he now? All right. You know, they're still down 2 good players. So, but for me, really, the defense is the biggest one, obviously. I mean, we have kind of all our attackers in place, except for Xerxes, of course. But I would like that defense to be a little bit strengthened, a little bit a little bit more options back there. I feel bad for kind of singling this guy out, uh, but I really don't rate Lindelof that much. I see him sort of as a weak link back there, and I'd rather have somebody else back there. I would even go as far as I would start Diallo as wing back and shift Maz back into center back, and then have you know Maguire, Maz, and I don't know. I mean, if Euro can play, I'd take Euro all day. I don't think Heaven can play a significant amount of time since he only got 10 minutes last time out, so I don't think he can start. So I don't expect him to do that, and maybe Lindelof, but I'd rather not see, or maybe Luke Shaw. I'd rather not see Lindelof and Luke Shaw and Maguire back there. I'd rather have maybe Luke, Maz, and Maguire, or whatever we can do. So um okay, so it's a three-way party and negotiation. Pretty much, because I mean, Benfica kind of gets bypassed here a little bit, Rajat, because it's really between Madrid United and Alvaro, and his agent. So I mean, if it makes sense for all parties to do, and they can do it, and they're actually allowed to do it, then I don't see why it wouldn't happen, because Madrid benefit from it, we benefit from it, and Alvaro gets a move to Real Madrid, which obviously he's going to take. He's not going to stay at Benfica. He's going to go to Real Madrid. When Real Madrid come, you go. Everybody always does. So we'll see. Imagine Shaw and Lindelof starting, we'd be finished. Well, that's my thing. That's probably the thing, Josh, that's making me the most nervous about this final, because I believe that we're gonna win. I think we can win, but the back line is the one that is making me feel sort of not that confident, because we're sort of a little bit of a mess back there. It seems like the biggest weak point. We are still conceding goals as well, and we're struggling to finish. So the stronger we can make the back line, the better it is for us. So whoever can come back and be available and play, and a lot of it is the back line, pretty much. I feel like the stronger chance we have. I mean, it's not to say that Shaw and Lindelof and Maguire can't have one of the best games ever, because it's a final, and it kind of everything. It's kind of like a Premier League game, which is kind of a worry because we're not great in the Premier League. But yeah, I mean, we just need we need some people back there. Will Delit or Euro get to start for the Europa League? Well, we got to see. I don't think anybody really knows, because I don't think Ruben has 100% made. I think he has a good idea, but I don't think he's 100% made final decisions. There's still another 2 days left before we play it. So that maybe he's assessing one or two options. I think he has basically generally 95% of an idea, but maybe there's one or two, maybe a late inclusion. And also, you got to use sort of this opportunity as well. I mean, a little bit of mind games from Amorim and stuff like that. Don't expose all your cards. Maybe Euro does start. Maybe we're not expecting it, and he does start. And the lit, I'm not too sure about. I think the lit for me, I probably have it listed as well, considering this update from the Uppeteers, yesterday I put Delo, Euro, and then I had Delit, and then Xerxes I didn't know because we didn't really get an update about Xerxes. Now I kind of feel like, well, it's either Delo or Euro is number one to play a role, but it seems to lean a little bit more to Euro, if that's truthful what they said and accurate. Not that they're lying, but it could be just something that was not 100% true that they got told. They So you're the low. I think are fighting for one spot, and then whoever's in second, and then pretty much I think now it's a close tie between Xerxes and Delit. I don't know if Delit is available. Like if Delit makes it, Delit won't be able to start. That's how I feel about Delit. Like if Delit makes it, Delit will be on the bench. And Delit maybe he'll come on and be put in as a sub at some point, but I don't think he'll be able to start. Whereas I feel like Yoro or Delo, they might actually be able to start. I think they have a better chance. And if Xerxes makes it, I don't think Xerxes will necessarily start, but maybe he'll get a good amount of time. Maybe he'll get like some 20 minutes or something like that. So Lyle has said drop a like, subscribe to the channel, get in the Discord. Yes, we have a Discord. If you like Discord, if you have Discord and you enjoy conversations and updates, the Discord is the place to be. You get all the updates, transfer news updates, all types of discussions. We got match day. We got everything. We got like 27 channels in there. We keep you thoroughly updated as much as we possibly can. And it's a good place to just have a chat with the community when we're not live. And also it's a good place to have chats with the community members, without me as well. You guys can connect with each other and chat about all the things you want as well. When I'm not available, my schedule is busy. So it's a good place to be. So if you're not in the Discord or you'd like to join the Discord, just click that link. It'll take you directly to our Discord and you will join. And we look forward to seeing you in there. So get in there. The chat says, what am I saying? What am I seeing here? Alex Roche says, have you been to many games this year? No. Well, I don't know if you're asking me, but if you are asking me, I've been to no games. I live in New York. I live in the United States. And it's, it's not of convenience to go to a match, considering my schedule, with work and stuff like that and other stuff. And plus, it's a little bit quite expensive to go do, but I do have to go some point in the near future, maybe next season, if we're better, if we're good. I'm hoping for a good season, and maybe I'll take a trip out there for one of the matches. I go with my father. My father is a long life Manchester United fan, has never been to Old Trafford, so I keep telling him, we gotta go. I keep telling him, especially you, because you gotta go once. It's about time. So we gotta get out there. We do gotta get out there. At some point. I mean, if I lived closer, if I lived somewhere in Europe, I definitely would be making the trips. I mean, it's quite cheaper. My family is from a country called Malta. I mean, to go from Malta to Manchester and watch a game, it's not expensive compared to flying from America. So yeah, we'll get there one day, and I'll document it too. We'll make a little video about it. Trip to Old Trafford, Red Devil trip to Old Trafford. And we'll give you a real Red Devil experience. That'll be good. One day soon. Josh says Euro has sharpness, just depends on pain. Yeah, he does. Just a little bit of concern because, he's been injured once or twice now. So you don't want him to get re-injured because, again, while we're going into the final, we also have one eye on next season. So you don't want to necessarily risk these players, have them sustain some sort of an injury where they're going to miss preseason and they're going to be behind for the entire start of next season, and maybe they miss the beginning of the season if they get a significant injury. And again, this is a final. I expect both teams to really battle it out. And it's probably going to be quite aggressive, and there could be a chance for some player to get injured. Hopefully not, knock on wood. But it could be something that's a problem. I mean, Totti never went to Real Madrid. Well, he might be the one and only exception. Steph says we need back three to be Maz, Maguire, Euro idea. I mean, that's what I would love. I just don't know if we can actually do that. I think for the very least, we can get Maz and Maguire back there for sure. The third option is the one that's in question because it's like, can Euro play? How much can Euro play? If he's going to be involved, which from the updates that we're getting, it seems like at the very least he'll be on the bench at the minimum. So, you know, Delit and Heaven as well. But can any of these three players, can Delit, Heaven, or Euro, can they give you 60 minutes at the very least? Because I think if somebody can give us 60 minutes, we can use that player. If they can't give us more than 25, 30, then we can't really start them because we can't start somebody that we're going to have to sub out 30 minutes into the match. So I don't know. It's a big thing, but and Darrow says, hi, everyone. Wow, the changes have started with the pending arrival of Wolves star man. I'm very happy about the signing. Awesome stuff. Yes, we're going to get back into that as well. The show is a little bit kind of all over the place today because I didn't, I usually have the updates here for you guys, but I didn't have time to do it. I was, doing some things around the house. So I'm kind of going in chronological order here. So we're kind of jumping from topic to topic, but it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. We're going to discuss everything anyway. So, Rajat says Maz, Maguire, and Lindelof will probably be Man United back three. Well, I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. I mean, could very well be. I mean, it's not like you're saying that the sky is red or anything. Even though on that day it has to be red because we need to win. But yeah, it could be. But he could also just opt for Shaw back there. He could put Maz as wing back. Maybe he starts Ahmad in the 10, kind of like what he did versus Chelsea. I don't know. I would ideally like to see, considering the defense and how I see it kind of a weak link at the moment, and I don't think it's necessarily that strong. I would like to see Maz go back to the center back, put Diallo wing back, and then go from there. So we'll see. Lion says if Xerxes is fit for the bench, I would start him. We need him. Yeah, but again, if Xerxes can only give us 20 minutes, then we can't really start him. If he's fit for the bench, he's fit for the bench, but that might mean he can only give you 20 to 30 minutes. If he can only give you 20 to 30 minutes, we can't really start him, can we? And you don't really want to push him too hard because what if Xerxes gets, he hasn't played for quite some time. Maybe he's lacking a little bit of match fitness. What if he gets some sort of another injury and then he's not available for next season? So we got to be careful with some of these players as well. I know we need them, but, we also have to do the right responsibility and look after these players. So, GK Yag says, what's your score prediction for United versus Spurs final? It's a good question. I haven't really thought about the score prediction aspect. I kind of just keep saying that we're going to win it. Albeit, I don't think one team is going to dominate another. I think it's going to be a big back and forth. I feel like United are going to do typical United things where, it's not going to go smoothly. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be one that's going to be typical United fashion where we have to kind of do it the hard way, with probably a lot of anxiety and frustration in parts of the matches. I feel like I might be jumping the gun here, but maybe a 2-1 United or a 3-2. I think both teams will score. I think both teams will score. I'm hoping it's not like a 1-1 or something like that and go into extra time or penalties or something like that. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But yeah, I think both teams will score. I think we'll end up conceding a goal because we tend to do so. It'd be great if we don't, but the performances and stats haven't really indicated that. So we will see. Lyle says, what Old Trafford is like down the road, Eric? Come on. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get it done. Grace says, bring your umbrella. I hear there's waterfalls. I'll wear Gareth Southgate coat with a poncho over it, protected the RDE tour. Yeah, I mean, one day, we'll be able to do these sorts of things. Hopefully, I've tons of ideas that we could do, but it's all about timing. Sometimes, opportunity presents itself, and then you could take it. Man United have Xerxes. Why need Cunha? He's Xerxes type. Uh, we need better. We just need better, regardless. We need more in the 10. He can also play the 9 as well. Um, we need better. Line says 2 Xerxes are better than 1 Xerxes. Yeah, I mean, what happens if September somebody does a hardcore challenge, Xerxes, they break his leg, knock on wood again. He's out for 6 to 7 months or something like that. Well, we go from having 1 Xerxes to no Xerxes. So Rajat says go into Milan. Yep, I do think that they will win the Champions League. I've stated that. So Lot says go PSG. Grace says go Spurs. Joking, don't hate me. Go Blackpool. Go Blackpool. What if Tottenham Spurs get win this week? Well, I mean, if they get win this week, then we just disband our club. We disband our club. And we go into hiding. We go in a cave and we never come back out. And we just live in the mountains for the rest of our lives. Rajat says go Harry Kane, and then that way both Kane and Tottenham win. See, but that's not allowed. Like Kane, Kane's allowed to win. I feel like Kane should probably get something for his thing, but Tottenham are not allowed to win. Poll, please. What are we polling, Grace? Tell me the poll, and I shall provide. I shall provide the poll. Trust the water. Yes, trust the water. But tell me the poll. But in the meantime, Beckham had some things to say about Amorim and about the club, so I want to kind of get into this thing real quick. So David Beckham speaking to The Athletic, he spoke on Amorim. He said, I believe that we have a very good manager now. I believe that we have a lot of people who are trying to bring stability around the club. What our fans care about most, though, is what happens on the field, and what is happening on the field, people are not liking. Our fans are not liking. He said, but the one thing is, our supporters turn up week after week. There are 74,000 fans in that stadium no matter what. No matter how we're playing or who's playing, the manager knows that. The manager understands that. It's why I like Ruben, and I think he has got a real opportunity here. He's a young manager with success already under his belt at Sporting, where he won 3 Portuguese titles and great experience for his age. So I think he will make the changes that he needs to make. Some good updates. Favorite player, Gig Scholes, Keane, Beckham. Well, all right, I'll get that in there. If you didn't hit the like button, please smash the like button. 100% of you said that you smashed it. 21 votes. Well, if we have 21 votes, do we have 21 likes? Because now I'm about to just call out a bunch of people. 21 people voted and said they did smash the like button, but we only have 12 likes. So you explain to me, who's lying? People, why are people lying? We should have 21 likes. We have 12 likes. If you didn't hit the like button, it just says Grace. Yes. Grace is willing to take this. She's willing to take the charges that come hand in hand with that. 19 likes. Oh, it just updated. I'm sorry. I have to apologize. It just updated on my end. We have 20 likes now. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate that very much. Nobody's lying. One person's lying. Favorite player. Let me get this poll up and I'll continue, and then you guys can vote while I'm doing the Beckham stuff. Favorite player. Giggs, Scholes. Add an option. I spelled Scholes wrong. Scholes, Keane, and Beckham. All right, poll is up. You vote. You guys vote away. I just got here though. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just having a bit of fun with the chat. It's okay. But I'm glad that we do have 21 likes. I mean, that's cool. So thank you to everybody that smashed the like button. Vote on that poll. I'm going to get to that poll after I go through these David Beckham quotes. So maybe him speaking will make you change your mind if you're not going to vote for him. But Beckham continued and said about Ruben Amorim, he said, I think Ruben definitely needs to be backed in bringing in the players he wants, but I actually don't know how possible it is. I don't speak to Jim that often, only from time to time. Ruben needs to be backed as a manager to bring in his team and his philosophy. He's trying that already, but I think once he brings his team in and his players, then you'll see something different. Beckham, listen, he's a smart guy. Usually when he speaks, he speaks pretty much the same as the rest of us as fans. I mean, obviously he is a fan, but obviously he's an owner of Inter Miami. But he's a smart guy, and when he speaks, he does a lot of the things he does say goes along the lines of basically, the majority of the fan base. So he is in tune with this sort of stuff. He's not one of these guys that is kind of out of touch. Kind of dropped that little tidbit that, he does speak to Sir Jim. Not a lot, but, here and there, once in a while, once in a red moon. Yeah, he had a couple more things to say. So Beckham said, I'd like to think you wouldn't have to sell your captain, Bruno. He's been exceptional. We've all been critical at times of some United players, but when we needed someone to step up, he has done it. I also hate the idea of any young player who has grown up at United leaving the club. We shouldn't be selling players purely for financial reasons. He carried on to say it should be what they are doing on the field, and if they're not performing, there's always a chance. We all knew that. I knew that. If I wasn't performing on the pitch, it didn't matter what I'd done in the past or what I was going to do in the future. There was a good chance that I was either going to get left on the bench or I was going to get sold. I like to think that Manchester United don't sell players that have grown up at the club, understand and love the club. I don't want to see players leave Manchester United if they care about United like I do. I mean, it's a strong and fairly good statement. And I think he's able to add a little bit more to it because he's a fan, but he's also an ex-player and he's a legend of the football club. So he kind of has a little bit of both viewpoints to it. I understand what he means by I hate the idea of any young player who's grown up at United leaving the club. We shouldn't be selling players purely for financial reasons. And then he followed that up by saying, I'd like to think that United don't sell players that have grown up at the club, understand and love the club. I don't want to see players leave Manchester United if they care about United like I do. And I think maybe some people might misconstrue that and say, oh, he's talking about Rashford specifically. I don't think he's necessarily specifically talking about Rashford. I think he's speaking in general. And for me, again, I don't think Rashford hates Manchester United. I don't think Rashford has a dislike for Manchester United. I think Rashford loves Manchester United. But to Beckham's point, and he understood this, and to be fair, he said that if I wasn't performing on the pitch, it didn't matter what I'd done in the past or what I was going to do in the future. There was a good chance that I was either going to get left on the bench or I was going to get sold. And I agree with that. And that's why I think Marcus Rashford needs to be sold, because he hasn't been good for us. He's been fairly inconsistent, and there seems to be some sort of problem with him at Manchester United. He seems disillusioned at Manchester United. I still think he holds Manchester United somewhere in his heart. I don't think he wishes ill will on Manchester United, but I think it's better for him if he goes, and I think it's better for United. The other part that he's saying, where he's saying we shouldn't be selling players purely for financial reason, well, unfortunately, because of what the Glazers have done to this football club, we might actually have to do that temporarily if the finances aren't there. Because at the end of the day, we have to spend money. We need to try and keep up with every other team that's already better than us and that is going to continue to improve. This is why I disagree when people say Amorim hasn't earned the right to get money to get players in. It doesn't matter though about Ruben Amorim specifically. It's about the club. The club has to continue always to go out and spend money and go and buy more players because every other club around us, whether they're below us, above us, our direct rivals, not our direct rivals, everybody is going to be spending money every season going forward to improve in one way or another. And if we don't do the same and we're already behind, we're going to continue to fall behind. So we must do that. I don't like the aspect of selling these young players, which is why I'm not necessarily in favor of Garnacho being sold or Mano being sold, because they are academy prospects that get us, pure financial money. They're pure profit. I don't like that aspect. I don't like it. I don't think we should participate in doing things like that. If they're not good enough, then, take the opportunity to do it. But when they have potential and ability like a Manu or like a Garnacho, those are the players that you don't want to see being sold for Manchester United. It's very un-Manchester United-ish. It's not Manchester United to do that sorts of things. If there's a player out there that's from the youth academy that just isn't good enough, then you can sell them and get the pure profit from it. But to just be like, we're going to sell Manu, for example, because, yeah, he might be good, but we really need the 60 million or something like that. It's just weird. It's weird, and I don't like it, and I don't think we should do it. But that was kind of, I don't know if that was all Beckham said, but it looks like it. So, yeah. Rashad says, what if you don't vote on the poll? If you don't vote on the poll, Grace will come and find you. And what Grace does after she comes and finds you, I can't tell you. But I think you'll be sorry for not voting on the poll. So Grace says, I think we should get Vardy and offer him free Red Bull for life. Man U kind of crap when they're selling youth academy players. How come Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man City know how to sell youth players at good private? I mean, it is a good point. They should be doing better jobs at that. I think it's probably our financial situation, Rajat. And, at the current moment in time, I think it's because we're so bad, it puts us in a weaker position to get more money. Whereas I think for Chelsea, and these other teams, they do it in a way where they're a lot more slick about it, where they're in a stronger position financially, they're in a stronger position performance-wise. So they're not, they can accumulate these sorts of players. I'm sure there's always interest in these players from other clubs. And therefore they could use that as leverage to be like, well, they could kind of play it off as well. It's like, I don't know, have you ever been in a situation where you own something or you have something, maybe one of your friends really wants it, like it's the only thing that they want in their life, and you don't really, you could do without it, but, you haven't made it known that you kind of don't really have any love for it, but, and, they're like begging you for it, and then you kind of play it off as like, well, you know what, maybe I'll give it to you. Really, you couldn't care less if you do it. Actually, sometimes you might be more than happy to do it, but you don't give them that indication of like, oh yes, please, thank you. Like we desperately wanted this offer. Like, thank you for saving us. And that's kind of how I feel like United is. Like, everybody knows that we're kind of struggling for money. We're struggling in performances. We're not at the place. There's a lot of demand for us to improve. There's a lot of demand and pressure for us to get better. So we're not in the best position to really be like... also, I kind of think like we kind of make the move ourselves. Whereas like Chelsea or somebody, like they have these players. They're more than okay in just holding on to them. They'll tell a club that's interested in them, like, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he's not really in our first team, but like we'll just hold him. Whereas United, they know more so that like, but you need money at the end of the day. we know you need to sell some players, so we could kind of force you to do these things. So maybe the offers go a little bit lower, but we do need to do better on that sort of stuff. But I think for that to happen, we need to improve as a club because our face value, we need to look better, we need to look stronger, we need to look more elite. The fact that we don't, I feel like puts us in a position to get lower offers from clubs because it's like, well, you guys are not good and this player can't even break into your starting 11 and you're not good. You know what I mean? So like they're like, so that player obviously can't be worth more than 15 million. Whereas like if you're a high performing team, they're like, yeah, okay, like he can't break into the team. But look at the team. The team is performing very good across all competitions. So Ray says, do you think we will offer an extension to Bruno's contract so he can't run his contract down like the Trent situation? I don't know, but I mean, but we just gave him an extension, no? So it's only a 2-year extension. I think we have an option. Do we have an option to add on an extra year? Bruno Fernandes signed a new contract with United in August 2024, extending his stay with the club until June 30th, 2027. The deal also includes an option for a further year. So, and Bruno is my age, no? He's 30. So, it'll take him to 32, or at the most it'll take him to 33 if we exercise that. So maybe at 32 we sell him with 1 year left on his contract. Maybe that's what happens. It's a possibility. So Grace says, what kind of number 10s do you think Amorim wants? I would prefer actual attacking midfielders like Bruno Meno and Mount, but I think Amorim wants ball carriers. I think he wants a combination, Grace. I think he wants a mixture. I think he wants again, for me, the way I look at his system, the more players you have that can play the positions, that can play in different types of ways, the better it is for him. I think that's what he wants. I think he wants a mixture of it. I think he wants to be able to, like, depending on who we play and the tactics and maybe the game that goes on from the opposition, I think he demands different sorts of qualities at different times. And also, maybe it helps in another way as well. Whereas if he sets up in one way and it doesn't work, he can then make subs that add different qualities and different ways of playing in the match. So if you have people that are like actual midfielders, which we already do, like Bruno and Meno and Mount, we already have them. But then you add in maybe a ball carrier or two. Well, now we can mix this up however we want. We could play 2 attacking midfielders. We can play 2 ball carriers. We can play 1 ball carrier and an attacking midfielder. He can mix it up all he wants, and he can change the dynamic of the match and the way we play as much as he wants. And I think that's what he wants pretty much in every position, barring probably the striker. I think the striker, he just wants the striker to be the striker. But in terms of like the other positions, like the wing backs, use wingers, but also use defenders, midfielders, like mix it up in there as well. Maybe have some that are more defensive, some that are a little bit more attacking. Maybe one that's a little bit more like box to box ish, maybe a little bit more well rounded. So he has as many options to make the tactical adjustments, because his tactical adjustments are shifting positions and the qualities of the players and how they play the position. His tactical adjustments are not going from 3-4-2-1 to a 4-3-2-1 in the middle of the match. He does that by putting on different players that play the game in a different manner. That might have, one might be a left foot, one might be a right foot, one might be both footed. Play the left foot on the right, play the left foot on the left. Just changing things like that. And we've seen that from him before. He's talked about it as well, those little details. I think he likes that. So Um, Rajat says we'll take Dan Gore playing striker on Wednesday to play this important final. Is he even? I think he's injured, isn't he? Again, I think he got re-injured again. Um, no, what we need, I said it in the Discord. I said it half jokingly, but I'm kind of also half serious. At this current moment in time, Maguire is probably our best option at striker. He keeps scoring goals. He had a brilliant goal that got chalked off against Chelsea on Friday. Um, I would put Maguire at striker if we could afford it, but obviously we can't. But I think throw Maguire. I mean, because I'm lost. I'm lost with Rasmus. I mean, I hope Rasmus has. I expect Rasmus to start, obviously, and I expect Rasmus to play. I hope Rasmus has a very improved game. I hope it's nothing like what he did against Chelsea, and I hope everybody is pretty much turned up for this. But um, let's put it this way: if Rasmus has a performance like he did against Chelsea, I'd rather see Maguire up there because just cross the guy the ball and he'll put it in the net somehow. Because he keeps scoring. So Grace is giving me red cards for this, but I'm being serious. If Rasmus, our striker, has a performance in the Europa League final like he did against Chelsea, we would be better off putting Harry Maguire up there. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Like Maguire up there couldn't do worse than what Rasmus did versus Chelsea. Um, it's not gonna happen. Maybe if we're searching for a goal later on, maybe Maguire gets sent up there if needed. But it's not gonna happen. But what I'm trying to say is Rasmus needs to have a better game. Because it cannot be anything like Chelsea. Like if we knew guaranteed 110% that he's gonna have the same performance he did versus Chelsea in the Europa League final, I swear I would put Maguire at striker. Because there's more of a chance of Maguire scoring a goal and having a bigger impact than what Rasmus gave us against Chelsea. So and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to kill or crucify Rasmus. Again, I expect him to start, and I hope he has a good game. I'm a little bit worried because he's struggled all season, and like Lion said, it's getting more difficult to defend Rasmus. He'll keep on trying. I hope he has a good game, but I'm worried about him. I really am. That performance was very, very bad, very, very bad. And we can't afford him as a team, not even just individually, but as a team, we can't afford him to have that sort of performance. We need everybody to be firing on all cylinders. It's a one-off match, and they can turn up for the one match. Rasmus could score a hat trick for all we know. I don't think the odds are in the favor, but he could do it for all we know. And maybe that's all we need just for that one match. So Gray says, I don't even mind if Rasmus can't link up, etc., but he don't even have good movement in the box. How has he not been coached properly? I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, this is always the thing that goes between football and the discussion. I mean, a lot of people say, how has he not been coached properly? I think I think it's I don't know. Like I always feel like the conversation is quite heavily on like the players aren't being coached properly, but I don't know like it's difficult to, in my opinion, it's difficult to split because I don't think it's just like he hasn't been coached properly. Because if you're coached but you don't understand or you don't apply what you're being coached, then and then it goes on you. You know what I mean? And like because we can't watch him every minute of every day, like what he's doing in training, we don't see what they've actually coached him. We don't see what they're actually telling him to do. We don't see how those sessions go. So it's hard for us to be like, I think it's hard to say he hasn't been coached, but then I think it's also hard to say, well, he's definitely been coached. Because I think there's probably multiple different factors there going on. So, um, like I could see a situation where, you know, and just on an unprofessional level. But like even when I played, there was some of my teammates like they're not coachable. Like they're not coachable. Like they don't have the necessary. They don't have the talent. They don't necessarily have the IQ. They don't take it maybe seriously enough. I'm not saying this is what Rasmus is. I'm just saying in general. Some players just don't have the ability. Some players don't have the mentality. Some players don't have the understanding. Or some people just they don't I guess try hard enough to apply it or something like that. Like I've played with people where like they might have one good quality, but when it comes to other things, like they're not going to do it. We train every week. We do 3 or 4 training sessions a week. They don't improve. They could try and improve on their own, but they don't even go that far to do it. So it's like, you know, in the squad when we're training, like there's some players that have a potential ability. There's something there to work with them. Team training will help and they will improve slowly but gradually over time. But then there's others that doesn't matter how much training we could do training 7 days a week. They're really not going to really improve that much. Or they're going to continue to not play great. So I think it's kind of a hard thing to say he hasn't been coached properly, because I don't know if that's fair, because maybe he has been coached, but maybe he's just not doing what he needs to be doing. Because you can only coach somebody to a certain extent, right? Because if everybody was so coachable and good coaching can improve players to such a good extent, then nobody would buy players anymore. Everybody would just get one player for each position. We'd coach the shit out of them until they're the best in every position, performing as good as possible. And then we just go from there, So like it's kind of hard. We need your vote. You do need my vote. It's a 3-way tie. We'll leave it open a little bit. I'll close it off at the end. Lion says I was typing the same thing, Eric. Well, I mean, it is difficult. Ray says 3-1 United Red Devils fever. Says Rasmus 2 goals on Wednesday. I hope so. I would love nothing more than Rasmus to score a goal or two. Especially if it wins us the match. I hope so. I'm worried. I'm not gonna lie. I'm worried from what he gave us against Chelsea. I hope I don't see that. I hope we don't see that. We can't have that, and we don't have room for that. But I hope he turns up. I hope he turns up along with the rest of the squad as well. I mean, he's not the only one. The rest of the team also needs to turn up, and they need to be on their game. So, I did miss Lyle's comment before. He said a lot of factors of that. It would depend on where the club is come closer to the end of Bruno's contract, also where he sees himself then. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too far out to really see how that goes. I think, when it gets closer to the time, then you can obviously make a better indication or a better, judgment. Rajat said Danny Alves, Xavi Simons is my favorite type of attacking midfielders. Doubt Man United want to sign them because, as Gray said, he wants ball carriers playing 10. But I think we just got another update on that as well. So, maybe he just doesn't get it. Yeah, maybe he just doesn't get it. And maybe, again, like, that's why football is kind of... This is why I try not to be... this is why I don't really believe in sort of black and white when it comes to football, because there's so many different factors. And I try my hardest to not sound like I'm making excuses, but when I think about it in general, there's so many different things. I really don't believe that it can be black and white. Like, you can have a player that might not necessarily have the ability, but they might have the mentality. Like, they might be able to read the game beautifully, but they might lack in ability. Like, they might not necessarily be skillful like Ronaldinho, but they can read the game intelligently. Then you might have somebody that has pace, can dribble, but maybe they don't read the game well. So, like, how much can you coach that? how far does it go into that individual? Because at the end of the day, these are human beings playing a professional sport. And as human beings, everybody sort of has some sort of a limitation here and there to a certain extent. Like, some people are better at things than other people. Like I always say, not everything is for everybody. It's kind of my famous quote that I kind of made up. And everything is not for everybody. You know, like this is random, and I don't really like necessarily talking about drugs on the channel, but when I was in school, there was a kid that I knew that he used to smoke weed, and he would be high in class, and he wouldn't study for any tests, and he got hundreds on every test, and he could teach the class. I mean, that's how smart he was. And he would be high every single class, every day, for the whole year, and it had no effect on him, zero. And then there's somebody else that they do the same as him, and they'd walk into class and they'd stare at the ceiling for 47 minutes and retain no information, and they wouldn't even take the test because they forgot they had a test. So, you know what I mean? I know it's an extreme thing, but it was one of the things that came to my mind, because I remembered, like, this kid used to come into the class and everybody knew he was high. The teacher knew he was high. The teacher wouldn't even say anything because he literally would just get hundreds on every test. He actually taught the class one time. He made the teacher cry because he told the teacher that the teacher was wrong, and that the teacher was teaching us wrong information. She got upset, cried, and then told him to teach it. And then he actually taught it. And he taught it better than the teacher. Like, we didn't understand what the teacher was telling us. He got up there, wrote everything out on the board, explained it to us, and the entire class was like, oh shit, okay, we get it now. Like, it actually makes sense. So, like, everything isn't for everybody. Like, you know, some players, they might have good ability, but they don't know how to apply that from things that they learn. Like, maybe they're not good at learning. Maybe some players are good at learning, and maybe they're not the best ability-wise, but they can try and apply some things, and maybe they become slightly better. But maybe they don't have necessarily speed, or maybe they don't have the best, you know, dribbling attribute, and stuff like that. So, racist trucks, yeah. And thank you for the super chat, Grace. Says RDE Tour Manchester Travel Fund donate now. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's something, maybe we could fund that, which isn't necessarily a bad idea. I like that. You know, maybe we could fund that at some point. We can have something to raise a goal over a period of time. And we could do a little bit of a fun, some sort of a fundraiser. So, the line says, you think Rashford will go and watch the match? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he can't necessarily play for Villa, and didn't he show up somewhere recently anyway? Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. I mean, if he doesn't go to Bilbao, he'll probably be watching it somewhere with maybe like his family or something on TV. I think he'll watch it in one form or another. Whether he goes to Bilbao or not, I don't know. I mean, that's up to him, really. I can't really say. It would be a pure 100% guess. Let's get to like the more recent updates though, because there's been more recent updates. But there's one that I need to get to, that I almost forgot about, but I need to call this out. So, Mark Ogden, who works for ESPN, put out several updates. One was that apparently Amorim has been working 14-hour days at United's Carrington training ground in recent weeks, arriving at 7 a.m. daily. The other one is that the first team squad also jointly paid to charter a flight to Spain to allow friends and family to attend the final. And he also said that in recent weeks, Ruben Amorim has begun to love the challenge of reviving United. And that's because apparently, according to Mark Ogden, which I think this is a load of horse shit, Mark Ogden put out saying that Ruben Amorim was going to quit in January after the period from when he came in because of the bad results. He was going to quit in January and then was convinced by I don't know, other people at the club, the hierarchy or whoever, convinced him not to do so because they gave him their full backing or something. I mean, it's absolute dog shit. It's absolute dog shit. I don't need to know Ruben Amorim personally. From listening to him and watching him and knowing where he's come from, there is no fucking way that Ruben Amorim was going to quit Manchester United 1.5 months after being here. I mean, he just said this last week when he did his press conference, and they alluded, or it seemed like he was alluding to the fact that, you know, he was going to walk away if we have a shit season next season. And he reiterated and said, I'm not going to walk away. He said, what I'm saying is we can't have this season again. And if we do, then they will remove me and somebody else will come in, because that's what needs to happen. If I can't get things right, I can't continue to do bad while I'm at the club. I don't want to do that. But he's not going to leave. He's not going to walk away. He knows that will come from the higher ups, and he knows that that's a reality. After saying that, Mark Ogden has come out and apparently now we're hearing about this in May, 2 days before the Europa League final, that Ruben was going to quit in January because he couldn't handle the bad results from November the 21st to January. I mean, I don't know what legal action you can take, but like I would take it, because this is clearly like it's dog shit. I mean, it's Ruben Amorim is, whatever you think about him, I know he's not a quitter. That's for sure. He most certainly is not a quitter. He's not going to walk away from Manchester United. He's not going to leave, and most certainly he's not going to walk away 1.5 months after taking the job. I mean, it's fucking ludicrous. So, you know, this is the type of people that, you know, just assholes. Ogden, Samuel Luckhurst, like these types of people, you know, when did you get that information? And who had this information? And why did nobody know about this? If it was going to happen in January, why did nobody know about this? And why is it being reported in May, 2 days before the Europa League final? You know, it's total bullshit. I would sue them for whatever I could sue them for, because it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he goes on to say here, United's hierarchy reassured Ruben Amorim of their support amid a rough start with only 1 win in 8 games after 3-1 defeat to Brighton. He considered resigning, but was convinced to stay. That's what he said. And then he said United's hierarchy remained unwavering in their belief that Amorim was the right man for the job, despite the side's difficulties on the pitch. There is no way that Ruben Amorim considered to leave 1.5 months in to the job after 1 win in 8. There's no way. Because if he considered leaving then he probably would have left by now, considering the way things have gone. So, and that's when he added, in recent weeks, Ruben Amorim has begun to love, they put in quotation marks like that, the challenge of reviving United. Again, I call bullshit. Why would you come to this football club if you didn't have a desire for the challenge to revive United? Like, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody in the world knows our situation. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what we've been doing for 13 seasons. I don't think Ruben was like, yeah, I'm going to come to United. It's going to be a walk in the park. I'll have us back to the top immediately. Meanwhile, no manager has done it, and it's been 13 shit seasons. Like, clearly, obviously, he came to United, one, because he respects the club and he likes the club, and he considers it a big club, and he considers it an honor to be the manager, but also because there's the challenge of reviving United, and he believes he can do it. So how all of a sudden, in just miraculously, after he's had the worst Premier League season as Manchester United has ever had, 3 weeks ago, Ruben Amorim woke up out of his bed and just goes, you know what? From the moment I came here, I really hated this challenge of trying to revive United, but now I'm absolutely madly in love with it. It's the greatest passion. You know, I have the biggest burning passion. He just woke up one day and was like, you know what? I actually love this challenge now. It's one of the most dumbest, stupidest updates I've ever heard. And you know, Gray says that Ogden is a melt, and I think people probably feel that way. I kind of respected him slightly because I thought he would come up with some decent updates from time to time. But I mean, after this, I mean, I kind of lose all respect for the guy because I think the whole thing is you know, like for example, when he puts in saying that the first team squad also jointly paid to charter a flight to Spain to allow friends and family to attend the final, I think that's a half decently good update. Like, that's something that nobody has reported, nobody said, you know, and that's fine. But when you come out with shit like this is just utter trash. I mean, nobody's believed this. I mean, if you go into the comments, nobody's believed this. You know, people saying coming from this idiot, it's definitely fake. Why didn't he report it then? Was wondering where the negativity is before the big final, and here's this clown with this full story. Like, you know, it's just a hit job. It's a hit piece. And again, I think United should be using its power a little bit more. They obviously, you know, just like how Ruben's done 437 interviews, and they use maximum time for us. I mean, we should be using this for leverage. We should be holding them over a barrel about it. When they put shit out like this, they should be getting punished for it from the club standpoint. Whatever we can do, but they should be doing things. Ray has sent the super chat. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it very much. Lyle says, yeah, Lyle says dog shit too. Lyle says Amorim was well aware of the challenge at United. Why would he quit? Using United for clicks again. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. And it's just to garner attention, you know. All the talk is about United right now. It's 2 days before the final. If you put any piece of news about United, you're going to get clicks, you're going to get likes, you're going to get attention, you're going to get some money from your tweets. You'll get more impressions and shit like that. So this is what's happening. This is what's happening. Lots of journalism, folks. New age journalism. I mean, but this is why people are going to fucking YouTube channels and nobody watches the news and nobody believes like journalists and stuff. And it's actually sad because, you know, people want to actually, in reality, people actually want to read the news and actually get like real information and like believe that they're being given like credible and real news and information. Like, people want to stay updated. People want to be given facts and they want to follow along. But these people do such a disservice to the profession when they do things like this that they actually just have everybody hate them. And because they do these things, like, people like the age of information has gone to a place where it's like people, you know, people go to Twitter and they follow people that aren't even journalists because they'd rather trust somebody like that than trust one of these so-called journalists, because it's like you've burned them so many times in the past. You've made up so many bullshit stories in the past. They'd rather just trust some guy that's actually trying to build the following because they seem like maybe they're a little bit more reliable. Because you know what? Like, if you are actually giving truth and you're giving updates and you're giving facts, especially in the beginning, like, there's such a hunger for it out there. People will latch onto it. They're gonna grab onto your account. They're gonna respect you. They're gonna follow you, and they're gonna believe you. And then it gets to a point where it's like this random person that just started a Twitter account once upon a time is actually putting out better shit than, you know, somebody like Luckhurst or Ogden, who have been doing this their whole entire careers. That this is their career. You know, this is the crazy shit that goes on. We have a couple more updates though. Let me refresh this because I don't think this refreshed properly. We actually had quite significant. So Fabrizio did his own little video about 2 hours ago saying the here we go for Manchester for Matheus Cunha is coming soon. I can't hear what he's saying, but yeah, I can't hear what he's saying, but I'm pretty sure they summed it up. We did get an update about the lap as well. Laurie Whitwell coming in. Now, Laurie Whitwell is one that we respect and we listen to when he puts out news. He is pretty much the English Fabrizio when it comes to English stuff. So, and Manchester United. So, Laurie Whitwell gave us an update about Liam Delap, saying Manchester United executives have held face-to-face talks with Liam Delap. They said Delap was given permission by Ipswich Town to travel to Manchester to get a first-hand sense of what a transfer to Old Trafford would entail. So, again, we're still making moves for Delap. And Gyökeres is still being mentioned. So, I don't know how this is necessarily going to transpire and how this is going to go. I still feel like at the current moment, while many people out there think and say and feel like we won't get two strikers, I don't necessarily. It might be unlikely, but I still think that at this current moment in time, there's a scenario that if we sell Rasmus and we get the lap and then we get Gyökeres as well, and we'll have two strikers. I don't know. I mean, they're doing, I guess, what they need to do because they're going. I mean, they're not just putting all their eggs in one basket. So maybe that's why it seems like it's a little bit of like they want the lap, they want Gyökeres, or you know, Wilcox wants the lap and Amorim wants Gyökeres, and there seems to be a chance for both of them. The lap seems to be a little bit more higher than Gyökeres at the current moment, but these stories about Gyökeres still keep coming out and how Amorim wants him and prefers him and stuff like this. So, you know, and to me, I just think Gyökeres is the better deal to do anyway. And again, he's not even that expensive for what he is compared to Delap. I mean, I think he's only 16 million more. So, to me, it just Gyökeres makes a lot more sense and he's better. Oh, we did get this update here. And this is why you guys were talking about it. See, I was behind on the news today, so I apologize for that, but I wasn't able to keep up. This was an hour ago saying Lenny Yoro and Delo are part of the traveling squad for the UAL final. Unclear as of now if they are in the playing squad. So so at the very least they're traveling. That's coming from Sully Talks. It's unclear as now if they are in the playing squad. I mean, if they're traveling, they're traveling because it's the final, and I guess the whole team is going to be there regardless of if they're fit or not fit. So, I mean, I get that, but I think both of them are probably going to make the playing squad in one way or another. Whether they start or not, you know, I'm not 100% sure. I feel like Delo has a good chance. With the update from the Muppeteers, it seems like Lenny has a good chance as well. So, we'll see. We'll see. Gyökeres, for 65 million euros, that's 55 million pounds, totally doable. 100%. 100%. I mean, again, it's sort of a similar thing. It's actually probably a better improved situation. You know, they said that we couldn't afford Kane because Kane was going to be over 100 million, and then the wages, right? Which the wages would take it up, you know, a few more million, making it super expensive, you know, probably in north of 125 million total. And I understand Gyökeres is going to get a higher wage than Liam Delap, but the quality difference, I mean, we're almost at the same sort of moment again. Similarly, I mean, 55 million pounds for Gyökeres, or you're going to pay 40 million pounds for Liam Delap. Like, It's a 15 million pound difference. But one player is a ready-made proven striker who is an elite striker who multiple clubs across Europe, the top clubs want this guy. Whereas it's not the case with Delap. Like, yeah, some clubs are looking at him like us and Chelsea, but it's not the same. It's not the same level. So, like, for me, the goal scoring ability and his readiness, whatever the difference is in wages and the 15 million, I think is definitely worth it. And I think it's definitely doable. So I don't agree with them. If they go for just the lap and they only get the lap and they let Gyökeres, listen, if we go for Gyökeres and he chooses Arsenal over us, there's nothing we can do about it. But if we just don't even attempt, if we don't even try, if we just go for the lap and we just let Gyökeres walk and go, and we don't even look in his direction, and we don't even make an attempt, I 110% disagree with this. I think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake, and I think we will regret it. Because, again, I think if we don't get him and he ends up going to Arsenal, I think we're going to have a season where, you know, Delap might be scoring some goals, but we're going to be watching Gyökeres banging in goals for Arsenal, scoring 2-3 goals a game or some shit like that. And we're going to be looking at it and saying, we could have had that, and instead we have this. And I think everybody's going to be really unhappy. And I think the pressure is going to be even more on Liam Delap. And I don't want that. We don't need that situation. We need Gyökeres to come in. I think that's the best possible solution for Manchester United. We also got this update. Who is this by? Laurie Whitwell, saying under the terms of the contract, Cunha's compensation clause is to be paid in 3 installments. The first upon signing, the 2 equal parts over the following 2 years, but it remains to be seen whether United will try to negotiate more favorable terms. Well, I mean, that's still not even that bad, because that's not even like paying the full price, one shot, one go. It's a, wait, it says compensation clause. What does he mean by compensation clause, though? Is that's not the release clause, is it? The compensation clause in this scenario refers to a specific provision in Cunha's contract with Wolverhampton Wanderers that dictates the financial terms of a buying club like Manchester United must meet to secure his transfer. Oh, it is the buyout clause. Okay. I just, because there's something else that they have in contracts that sometimes they call them compensation fees or clauses. So, yeah, so that's not even, that's actually not even that bad, because we thought you pay you pay the buyout clause, you pay 65 or 60 million all at one point. I mean, the way it's structured, it's still in installments. You're paying the first one upon signing, which is immediately, and then the other 2 are split in half into 2 equal parts, and you pay it over the next 2 years. So you pay one next year and the one the year after. I think United might want to stretch it and try to do it for 5 years, but I mean, that's probably why they're thinking, and they have been thinking, either we just pay it direct or we try to negotiate with them and see if we could even lengthen it out even longer. And that's probably why that information has always been that United have been thinking about paying it, because everybody thought if you pay it directly, that means we're just paying 60 million one go, one shot immediately. And that's not even the case here. The case is that it's his buyout clause is actually it's a 3-part installment over 3 years. So It makes it more expensive because, if it's at 60 million, uh and if it's at 60 million or 65, whatever it is, and you spread that over 5, you're paying 12.5 million a year. Whereas obviously if you do it at 60 and you divide it at 3, it's about 20 million a year. So obviously there's, like a 7.5 million difference per year, but it's not even as bad as we thought it was. So we also got another update. Laurie Whitwell continuing on saying Liam Delap will speak to all suitors, including Chelsea, before deciding. United is also considering Buemo, Victor Gyökeres, and Victor Osimhen. I mean, but like me, like Osimhen and Gyökeres should be like 1 and 2. Delap should be like 3. I don't really understand this part. I don't. I mean, I think both those players are way better. And they can still give us. They can still give you 5 years each, both of them. So, like, I don't really see, what is the problem with and why Gyökeres and Osimhen don't seem to be at the top of the list, and Liam Delap seems to be the number one. There's a part of me that, like, because in fact, obviously, we know that Amorim wants Gyökeres. There's a part of me that almost wants the lap to just go to Chelsea so they can kind of stop this, because I just want Gyökeres or Osimhen, preferably Gyökeres. But I mean, if we can't get Gyökeres, then Osimhen. But I just don't. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why they are. I mean, the only thing is probably because of money, which then I don't agree with, because you're not giving Ruben what he actually needs. You're not giving him the best chance. I think the best chance for Ruben is to get him Victor Gyökeres. I think he's the strongest candidate. Liam Delap is not the strongest candidate. He is not Amorim's best chance. It's a gamble. It's a big gamble. We did have an update about Xerxes as well. Joshua Xerxes has a good chance of making the Europa League final squad. He's also traveling and has been in team training in recent days. Xerxes has worked hard in his rehab. If he were to make it, it is said he would be on the bench. So again, I think all these players actually, I think they'll be part of the squad, whether they play or not. I don't know. Whether they start or not, I don't know, but the updates we're getting, it seems like Xerxes, Euro, and Delo are all gonna be in the playing squad. They'll at the very minimum make the bench, and I think Lit's the only one that's really in doubt. I don't know if he's gonna make it or not. I feel like he might not, considering his problems with injuries, but we will see. We will see. Graham Bailey gave us an update saying Amorim and his coaching staff believe that a ready-made striker would be better route for them to take as a team, but Jason Wilcox is convinced that Liam Delap is the best option for the club. Gyökeres is seen as a good fit for someone of his ilk with more experience, such as Victor Osimhen type of player, and I agree 100%. And this is kind of what's going on at the club right now. So Amorim and his coaching staff, if this is to be true, they want Gyökeres, and they believe what I believe, in that a ready-made striker would be better route for them to take as a team. But Jason Wilcox is intent on getting this sort of unproven younger striker, because maybe they're looking maybe they're looking at it as a signing for the next 10 years, whereas obviously Gyökeres and Osimhen, there isn't 10 years, there's about 5 years, so it's about half. But not everything can be always 100% for the future. I think we're already doing some good things for the future. I think we've done some things for the future, and it doesn't have to stop with the future. But I don't think the striker position at the current moment in time, considering Rasmus's performances, and him struggling, I don't think it's a position to play around with and take a gamble with at this current moment in time. Again, for me, like I keep saying, like I would take Delap, but only if that means like if you're gonna sell Rasmus and Delap is a backup striker. He's not a guy that I say should lead the line. Just like I said, Rasmus shouldn't be the main guy and lead the line. He was never supposed to be that guy. We've seen what happened because we let him be that guy, and I feel like they're gonna do something similar. It might not be as big of a mistake because Delap will be 40 million and we paid 72 million for Rasmus. And, Delap had one season in the Prem and he's used to English football and Rasmus didn't. But, like, it's still sort of similar. We're still taking a gamble on an unproven striker when we're not good, when we're struggling to score goals, when we need somebody with real experience and real class and ready to go. Not one that's like a developmental. Like I don't have a problem with learner drivers, but not in this situation. We need the main guy first. I mean, Rasmus is kind of the learner driver. And if they've had enough of Rasmus, then you sell Rasmus and you get the lap and you still go and get Gyökeres. Ben Jacobs saying Liam Delap has been told he can expect significant minutes should he choose to join Manchester United. He remains the top choice. Delap is waiting to see how the Europa League final and race for Champions League spot unfolds. He has not gone quite as far as to tell clubs a lack of European football is a deal breaker, but it's believed to be an important factor. Well, you know. Ben Jacobs also saying that Manchester United want 2 quick signings within the first weeks of the window, with the number 9 the other priority area to strengthen in. So they want Cunha and they want the striker sorted immediately. We just got that update 30 minutes ago. And Ben Jacobs also saying Benjamin Sesko remains on Manchester United's radar, but a move for Osimhen is not expected. So the striker position coming real into play here at this current moment in time. So, I mean, let me just look into this and see what else is going on here. Yeah, same thing. I mean, but we have to do this anyway because we need to move quick. So Cunha in, you could get the striker in. That's 2 already. That leaves us with 3 before preseason because I'm aiming for them to get 5. And they should get 5. I think they need to get 5. So they have a job that they got to do. We have had eight votes in this poll, by the way. Coming back to the poll, Beckham has now taken the lead, favorite player. It was 3-way tie at one point. It was Giggs 33%, Scholes 33%. Keane had 0. Keane will be pissed at us if he's seen that. And Beckham had 33% as well. Now Beckham is 38%. Keane 12, Scholes 25, and Giggs 25. And I don't know how much it would go up for. I can't actually vote in it because I can't. Maybe I could vote here. Hold on. There. I voted for Beckham. So my favorite player was Beckham. So Beckham 44% in the polls. Favorite player. He seems like he's taking it. But yeah, I mean, just about the striker again. Like we need Gyökeres. We need Gyökeres. We should be getting Gyökeres. We should be going for Gyökeres. It's a deal that we can do. I actually think it's a steal of a lifetime. I think it's a very good deal. I don't see why not. By the way, we didn't talk about Turkey. Did announce that he's leaving. I don't know if we're necessarily informed because, I mean, he's announced that we're leaving. There hasn't been any updates about United going to make a move for him, so I'm not sure if that's going to materialize. But I guess we'll see. He is on the move. I still think somebody like him, even for his price, I think it's a good, deal. It seems like that it seems like Amorim is losing this one, to be quite honest. Again, listen, I mean, we asked for this, and as much as I have an opinion on this, at the same time, I do have to be fair. The football club does have to operate in a certain manner, and we've been saying that it hasn't been doing so for quite some time. The manager can't get every single player they want. They shouldn't have the ultimate power to get every single player they ask for. It's why we want people like Jason Wilcox and Omar and Vivel and stuff like that to be involved, because obviously we've seen how it's gone when under Ten Hag, when manager has all the power and all the say and all the knowledge and nobody really helping him. I still disagree with it. That I don't think it's the correct choice, but a football club needs to be operating in this way realistically. It seems to be full steam ahead on the lap then. You know, Gyökeres will cost you 55 million and 250k a week. And the lap is going to cost like 30 million and 100k a week. To me it just seems like a money thing. They really shouldn't be doing this sorts of things. They really something like this I think is a big mistake for Ineos. I do. I think if they don't get Gyökeres, if they don't even try to go for Gyökeres and they go for Delap, I think it's a big mistake by Ineos. Because there's a big aspect that they're doing this for money. This is a money reason. Because the difference is you're saving 25 mil or 15 mil, 25 mil, but also you're saving 150k a week. But I don't agree with that. I mean, where we are, we should be getting the player that costs a little bit more, but I mean, he's worth the price tag. Like that's where I don't agree with it. That's where I don't understand this sort of thing, because again, we don't want bad deals, like, no offense, but paying 72 million for Rasmus is a stupid deal. Paying 80 million for Anthony is a stupid deal. But Gyökeres, actually, he should be going for more. He has a 100 million buyout clause. He should be going out for more. They're giving a deal out to people for 55 million on a gentleman's agreement. I think it's a good buy. Like, for his quality and his ability, I think it's a steal. To be quite honest, I think if they didn't have this agreement and they had everybody sort of fight it out, he'd probably go for 75 million. And 250,000 a week. So, like, I think there's an opportunity there to actually get a player that actually will cost a lot more, but he's a lot better than the other player. And I think he probably justifies the money. But, maybe they are a little bit worried about the return as well. 55 million for a player that's 27 years old. Or 20, whatever he is, 26, 27. What will you get back at the end of it? What will you get at the end of it? Probably nothing, because he'll be 33 when his contract expires. So, I would like to hope, and me being me, I would like to hope that maybe they just believe that it's better for the long-term project and it really isn't about money. But I don't think you can ignore that, considering that we've been making all sorts of cuts for money, and they're worried about the money, and they've never stopped talking about how United are down in money. But I mean, listen, 26 years of age he is. He's 26 years old. Still? No, he was born in 98. Oh wait. Yeah, 26 years old. Yeah, sorry about that. I was having 26 years old. 5-year contract takes him to 31. You give him with a year option to extend. It could take him to 32. So it's 5 plus 1. You should still be able to do something about that. When he gets to there, you move him on. Maybe 2 years left. You move him on. In the meantime, we should be getting somebody else. Whether we develop them over the next 5 years. If you're looking at a longer term project, I think you start with Victor Gyökeres, taking over for the next 5 to 6 years and having the understudy develop in the next 5 to 6 years. Whether we bring them to the youth academy or we get somebody that's young, maybe like 19, 20 years old, 21, 21-year-old or a 22-year-old, even a 23-year-old. If they're the backup and we develop them over the next 5 to 6 years, when Gyökeres goes, we'll have another striker in their prime. And there is no transition. We just have the striker in the prime ready to go. So, Laya says, I 100% agree. If we miss out on Gyökeres, it could come back to haunt us, like him scoring against us in the league at Arsenal and Chelsea. 100%. I mean, I don't think he'll go to... for me, I think... I mean, he could go to Chelsea, but I think at the current moment in time, I think it's between us and Arsenal. And it's just like, if we don't put in an offer... Well, first we need to make Champions League football. That's an important one. But if we make Champions League football, if we don't put in an offer, I think he'll end up at Arsenal. Because I don't really see, Arsenal kind of looking at Sesko, but there's Gyökeres as well. So I think he'll end up at Arsenal. But regardless, whether if we don't go for him and he ends up at Arsenal or Chelsea, again, I think we'll be kicking ourselves. Because I think we'll be in next season. We'll be watching this guy score goals, and I just feel like Delap, while he might not necessarily be terrible, he ain't going to be doing what Gyökeres is going to be doing, and we're going to be looking at that and saying we had an opportunity to do that. Our attack is still struggling. Delap might be inconsistent. He might score some goals. He might go some matches without some goals. Maybe as an adjustment period. And we're going to be sitting there saying we had an opportunity to get fucking Gyökeres and we didn't go for it. And now we're watching him at one of our rivals playing in the Premier League and playing exceptionally well while we're struggling. Lyle says perhaps Delap is moving ahead as a backup plan. UCL football gets us Gyökeres. I mean, that could be as well. I mean, it could be a little bit of... It could be a little bit of bullshit, maybe from the journalists reporting it to try and kind of stir the pot a little bit more. In that, like, they seem to be jumping. They seem to try to be creating this narrative of like Delap is number one, maybe because he's English. I don't fucking know. Sometimes they're weird about it. Maybe because he's English. Maybe because they want to, they push you one way, they push you the other way. They tell you Delap is number one target. I don't see how he can because he's not the better player, so it doesn't make sense. But they tell you Delap's the number one target. Then a week and a half later, they tell you, United are serious about Gyökeres. They push you the other way. Then they push you back this way. When in reality, maybe it's just United trying to line up 2 or 3 deals to make sure just in case, because there's no guarantee of Delap. Obviously, there's concerns if we don't get Europa League, but there's also Champions League, but there's also concerns about Gyökeres as well if we don't get Champions League. So maybe they're just trying to make sure they have 3 different options. available. So if one gets cut out, they could go to the other one. If that one doesn't work, they could go to the other one, and then hopefully they get one of the three. Which is what we should be doing anyway, because we shouldn't be just like, I mean, realistically, the club shouldn't just be like, yeah, we want Gyökeres and fuck everybody else. Like, don't even pay attention to them. Don't waste your time on Delap. Don't waste your time on, you know, Sesko or some shit. Don't waste your time, because we're gonna get Gyökeres. Don't worry about it. Then some shit happens, like we don't make the Champions League, or he actually just chooses not to come to us, and then we go, well, now we're fucked. Now we gotta go back to the drawing board, evaluate the options again, start all the work to do negotiations, and, you know, ask the player, and what does the player want, and is the player interested, and draw up the contracts and make the bids, and then we're very fucked and we're very behind. So maybe it's just we're doing normal shit that we're supposed to be doing, and maybe the journalists are just trying to exacerbate the situation a little bit more. Maybe they're just trying to make it a little bit more drama-ish by saying, you know, Delap is the favorite, then they go to Gyökeres next week and they tell you Ruben wants him and United are heavily interested, and, you know, you go from here to there and back and forth. So, you know, did we get any more updates? Not that I see. I don't see any. So, somebody voted again and took Beckham's position down. Beckham is still in first, 40%. Keane with 10%, he's in last. Scholes has 30%, he's in second, and Giggsy 20% with the votes in the polls. So, but listen, I got to get out of here for today because I got to go finish up some things, and I'm running on a tight schedule today. So, if you'd like to know, I got to go paint the door. So, I got to go paint the door. So I want to do that. I'll be quite honest. We'll probably go live tomorrow at the same time as we did today. Just because it's the day before the match, and I assume we're probably going to get a little bit more news. It's kind of quite heavy around United currently, because obviously we're in the final and it's quite focused. So we'll do a stream tomorrow at the same time as well, and we'll go live for that. So, you know, put that in your calendars or your reminders or whatever. Obviously, I'll remind everybody in the Discord as well. I'll put an announcement probably like an hour before, just to remind you guys that we're going live in about an hour or so. There's the Discord link as well if you need that, if you don't have it. And other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, shout out to everybody that smashed the like button. We got 22 likes today, so that's great. And I don't know if we got any more subscribers, but if we did, shout out to you guys. We're trying to get to 3,000. We've been steadily building, slowly but steadily, which is always good. It's you know, it's better than nothing. So I think we've gotten like about 50 something new subscribers in the last 28 days or something like that. So you know, that's good stuff, and we'll get to 3,000 in no time. So if we keep going the way we're going, we just need about, I think we need 45 more, because I believe we're at that thing didn't update yet. So yeah, we're on the way there, but I think that's pretty much, I'm pretty much done for today. There's nothing really else to talk about. So other than that, oh, by the way, tomorrow memberships are gonna go live. Well, it's one membership. We're gonna start with one membership tier, and then, you know, we'll update them over time. But membership is gonna go live. So if you want to become a member, you can. I've made it, I think, a reasonable price. It's gonna be lower than, you know, the big channels. They charge I don't know what it is in currency wise, right? But the big channels they charge for a standard one. I think it's like $4.99 or something like that. And you get all the perks or some shit like that. Ours is gonna be $2.99. I think it's $3, I believe. So yeah, because I think that's fair. Because we're a small channel, and I think for what we got to offer at the current moment, I think that's fair. And then we could always build it up and improve them and create more tiers from there. So yeah, that's gonna come with a few perks. Obviously, you're gonna get the emojis. Well, at least a couple of them until we get people to actually subscribe, to actually become members, so we unlock more slots for them. But the emojis that Lyle created, I've handpicked 4 of them. I think they're probably a good standard starter 4-pack. And then that also comes with some other perks in there as well, which I'll go over when they go in the show. So you're gonna get a little badge next to your name. The badge updates as you stay a subscriber. Obviously, we have different colors for this, different tiers. I think it goes somewhere along the lines of like red, yellow. I forgot some of the other colors, but eventually there's a bronze, there's a silver, and then there's a gold. So gold is the max. That's like, I think it's like 2 years or something, 24 months or something like that. So whatever it's tiered at. I forgot exactly how I color coded it, but you get the badge next to your name. You get to use the emojis, and you get some exclusive sort of stuff. You get priority commenting. So I'll have to skip around in the chat because I gotta give people that are paying for this. I gotta get to them first. So not that I'm gonna ignore anybody, but I'm gonna get to somebody's comment before somebody else's, because this is a perk of becoming a member. So yeah, we'll go over it a little bit more tomorrow, and we'll talk about it. I mean, they'll be live during when we go live. Like, they'll be there from the beginning of the show, but I'll fully cover it obviously at the end of the show. So when we get towards the end of the show tomorrow, I'll go in full detail and fully explain it as much as I can. And then I'd like to gauge your guys' opinion as well about that sort of stuff, because I'm gonna have one tier only. I was thinking about putting in 2 tiers, one lower than what I already put it in. Because I was gonna split it between having, because $4.99 is usually the normal. They consider it the normal standard, right? And then sometimes they offer one where you get like only the badges and the emoji for like $1 or $2. But I was like, I don't really, I didn't really like splitting it up, so I was like, I'll just get the medium, and we'll make it in the middle, and then everybody gets access. You get the full package for a little bit less, so you don't have to really choose. And then as we update it as we go, we can create more tiers, and we can rebrand it, and we can change it and make it more tiered and more better and stuff like that. So Lyle's hyped for it. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, it's about time. So I actually I meant to do it like this stream or the other stream, but I kept I kept forgetting to do it. So I'm gonna do it for tomorrow's show. So yeah, but other than that, everybody have a good night. Thank you guys for the support as always. Thank everybody that smashed the like button. Thank everybody that's a subscriber and a new subscriber, and shout out to the entire chat for getting involved, and shout out to all the people that send super chats. I thank you very much. I always appreciate those very much. Grace will tell you they're mandatory, but they're not. But we love you for them if you do send them. So and other than that, everybody stay safe, have a good night, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will speak probably if you guys are up a little bit in the Discord, and then but on here we'll speak tomorrow, same time, same place. And yeah, other than that, Lyle says another launch, woohoo. Yeah. And I was thinking about something, Lyle, that I had to message you, and now I forgot. So I'll message you when I remember, because there was something I was going to ask you. And now I forgot. I don't know. My head is. Uh, I'm trying to fix a lot of things and do a lot of things and figure out a lot of things, and my head keeps jumping from one place to another right now. So, Lyle says, "Cheers, Eric and all you Reds." Cheers, Lyle. We'll see you guys later. Be good. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. And maybe we'll talk a little bit in the Discord as well.